Get over here! It's clobbering time!
Wait, what? No, that's not right. Oh, but keep the first catchphrase though, that one's good. Let's talk about weaponry. Mortal Kombat is known for its mutant mutiny, ridiculous realms, and freakish fatalities, but the tools that get the job done are nothing to spine rip at. It's time they had their day. Without further ado, Sub-Zero has been part of the Mortal Kombat franchise since the very first of the games back in 1993. The most impressive of his moves involves freezing his opponents entirely and then breaking them to pieces. But he's used everything from double ice daggers to ice axes and even an ice bomb throughout the series. Most recognizable of these is probably the Gorey blade. Later on in the franchise, the first Sub-Zero evolves and becomes known as Noob Saibot. Influenced by both the Chaos Realm and the Nether Realm, this era of Sub-Zero has a little less ice and a little more tyranny. With that comes a dedicated weapon, the Sickle. Oh, but this Sickle isn't like other girls. It actually digs right into Saibot's body, can be doubled, and can even be cast by his shadow twin. Talk about iconic. What is a scorpion without a stinger? Well, we don't have to ponder that because this guy's got one. His kunai goes from god-tier farming tool to deadly weapon representation, and the newest film puts an incredibly poignant spin on this as, spoilers for the opening scene, we see it used to turn the Earth and then to be used fatally against both Bihan, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion before his first legendary rebirth. The kunai is usually attached to a rope or a chain, resembling the flexible, reaching stinger of the animal from which he gets his name, and opening up more beautiful, real-world-inspired potential for his movesets. Be it in the throes of hellish vengeance like early iterations of Scorpion, or as a sage and wise champion ready to forgive and act as a protector of Earthrealm like in the current video game timeline, and maybe going forward if we get more films. It's always a delight to each and every Mortal Kombat fan to see Scorpion wield this weapon. Major Jackson Briggs, known to most as Jax, made his debut in Mortal Kombat 2. Like another fan favorite who made it into this year's Mortal Kombat film, Jax has a military background. He's a member of Earthrealm's Special Force, the Special Forces, and so naturally has all manner of weapons proficiency. But it's his cybernetic enhancements, first given to him in Mortal Kombat 3, that delivers that distinctly brutal Mortal Kombat oof to your HP. His best-known signature move, Ground Pound, has to be getting some extra strength from those beauties. And it's been a joy to watch the move evolve through the series. Oh, and hey, did you know that while the new Mortal Kombat movie depicts his arms as bionic replacements after a gnarly meeting with Sub-Zero, the earlier video game timeline never establishes if they were replacements, enhancements, or simply armor? That frozen near fatality has my support. I'm all about a creative and cool-to-look-at choice. We stand a problematic ruler of the Outworld with a hammer way too big for anybody's britches. Shao Kahn's Wrath Hammer isn't his first weapon. In Mortal Kombat 2, he only had a spear. But its power in Kahn's hands and its rebound ability for those he faces in some of the games makes it truly iconic. This hammer has a lot in common with mauls, a kind of two-handed warhammer used from the 14th century, but in reality, the weight and reach of this one would definitely never work. It's a testament to Shao Kahn's super strength and dedication to ferocity. If you're a fan of Mortal Kombat 3, there's a chance that family feuds started or friendships ended over someone insisting on maining Shao Kahn and immediately tanking half your health with that thing. Up next is Shao Kahn's spiritual daughter, Mileena. Her deep purple gear and decidedly inelegant weaponry are in stark juxtaposition to Kitana's smooth blue and incredible fan work. Well, as stark a juxtaposition could get in 1993. But low-grade graphics be darned, we know it's an intentional design choice because Mileena is actually a hybrid clone of Kitana. That's right, our first genetic experiment/mutant on the list. Mileena wields two sai, stored on her back for safekeeping, adding to her aesthetic of looking really cool and being a foil to Kitana. And we'll get to Kitana's two fan blades in a bit. Sai had a huge moment in the 90s in general. You've certainly seen them wielded by a certain member of a certain group of teenage turtles, and they were Marvel Comics' Elektra's weapon of choice when she returned to Daredevil in X-Men Comics in 1994. Oh, and hey, what do you know? The Sai are yet another weapon in Mortal Kombat history that may have had their start as a gardening tool. Seriously, get these people some dirt and let them thrive. Just let them know peace. Leaving the world of gardening once again, a shame if you ask me, we gotta talk about that whole genetic experiment thing because one of the most iconic weapons in Mortal Kombat is a byproduct. That's right, baby, we're talking about Mileena's weird mouth. Teeth! 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 That Tarkatan DNA spliced into the genetic cocktail while cloning Kitana is responsible for her strange maw and how lethal it can be. One of the nastiest finishers in Mortal Kombat overall is Mileena's Man-Eater, where she devours her opponent in a split second and spits out nothing but bones. She can also behead her opponents with one well-placed bite to the neck for the ferocious bite fatality. Lord Raiden, eternal god of thunder and lightning and protector of the Earthrealm, is one of the most important characters in Mortal Kombat history and another OG legend we have had since the very first game. His work with lightning provides some stunning visuals in game and film canon alike, but the staff is where he brings the real heat. If you can shoot lightning from your hands but still choose to rock with a weapon, it has gotta be impressive. Planting his staff into the ground, Raiden can summon lightning into it for power moves like the Electric Burst and Joe Push from Mortal Kombat 11. Nothing compares to the Thunder Take You fatality, however, in which Raiden utilizes the staff as a direct melee weapon, cracking it across his opponent's skull, tosses it like a javelin to pierce them through their head, and then teleports beneath them for one final crack from the staff. Like most great Mortal Kombat movesets, the staff's power is parts magic and parts practical. Many of Raiden's stances are reflected of Bojutsu, the Japanese focus on stick fighting or staff fighting that has found its way to many martial arts and fight choreography styles. In fact, Daisy Ridley did Bojutsu training in the early days of preparation to portray Rey in Star Wars. Hey, the more you know. Oh, Kung Lao. Not a Liu Kang, not yet a Raiden. But something decidedly middle child about Kung Lao's place in the Mortal Kombat canon, canon with a K. You simply can't do a list on Mortal Kombat weapons and not talk about this man's hat. It is a hat, yes, but it's also made of blades and functions as a boomerang, always returning to Kung Lao after dealing its damage. Should a hat be a weapon, you ask? Oh, you fool, you coward! It is one of the deadliest tools in Mortal Kombat, and with it, Kung Lao excels at some of the most cartoonishly brutal fatalities that the Mortal Kombat series is known for. It's not enough to have a hat that can fly around and slice people in half, or even relieve them of having a head. Oh no! Many of Kung Lao's moves are vortex or tornado based, so it's a very ninja professional countertop blender TM experience. But the new film doesn't shy away from this gruesome potential. It's Max Wong portraying the former monk who gets to deliver the incredible catchphrase, "Flawless victory." She's beauty and she's grace. She might remove your face. In Mortal Kombat lore, she is the stepdaughter of Shao Kahn, whose great big hammer we mentioned already, who turns her back on him once his hunger for power and willingness to do bad things to keep it threatens her home. She aligns herself with Earthrealmers to protect it. That's easy at first to write her off as a simple femme fatale assassin, but as the games have evolved, Kitana has been revealed to be more compassionate, her noble tendencies inspiring honor and loyalty rather than mindless dedication and submission. Now we could spend hours dissecting all that she's been through and how she's changed from retcon to retcon, but suffice it to say that her fan blades are the perfect weapon for this woman who walks the line between plenty of dichotomies and has a lateral ode to duality in her nasty little clone, Mileena. Every combo set in Mortal Kombat 2 ends with a fan flourish, even if it's not a fatality or even a power move, showing that these fans are an extension of herself. Kitana is strong in hand-to-hand combat, so sometimes it feels more like a tool of self-expression than a necessity. The blades can be tossed as a projectile, but do intense damage as an up-close melee weapon too. And that's a good thing too, as Kitana's moveset doesn't really have any throws or grapples. It's a very defensive style. In Mortal Kombat 11, the fatality deadly game brings all of these finer points together. Her fans initially blind the opponent, doubling the damage with a dropkick onto the now implanted blades, and uses the reverb from the kick to retrieve her fans and drive them into the neck, then into the back of her opponent's head once they topple to the ground, which is to say, tossy, stabby, stabby, so pretty, so cool. With all the progression from farm equipment to battle accessories, it's really got me thinking. When's the last time I ended an argument by tossing around a lawnmower or some pruning shears? Have I been holding back my true potential? Well, I guess there's no time like spring to plan your garden and garden fights.